You're listening to LA40 with Katerina Cozias, only on LA Talk Radio.
All right, good morning, LA. Welcome back to another edition of the digital talk show LA40. I'm your host, Katerina Cozias, and I'm here in Los Angeles. The beauty of the internet is that we are actually with you wherever you are tuning in from. Today, we have a very special guest. It's a little past the hour, Thursday morning, and I'd like to introduce, for those of you on visual, you'll see him sitting next to me. For those of you on audio, well, you'll hear him in just a minute. Our special guest, Dr. Jerry Teplitz. Jerry Teplitz. It's a tongue twister. Good morning.
Good morning.
Jerry is a master at helping to program the subconscious mind for success. And in fact, today we have you here. Thank you for being with us all the way from Virginia Beach. We have you here to talk about how to switch on your selling. Now, when we first talked about this, I thought, well, this is interesting because at the end of the day, as entrepreneurs, for anyone in business, and really for anyone in life, you have to sell. You're selling yourself, you're selling your product, you're selling your service. And what I hear from a lot of people that I interview is, I suck at sales. I don't know how to close. I don't know how to cold call. I don't know how to get the money. And I'm sure you have heard a lot of that yourself, which is why you've developed your program. Talk to me about how we switch on selling.
So let me take a step back
Okay.
and kind of tell you how I got
Absolutely.
to this whole thing here.
Sure.
I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, went to Hunter College, and then went to law school at Northwestern in Chicago.
Okay.
I'm a licensed attorney in Illinois and practiced for a while for the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency. And this was in the early EPA days. And I was hanging around with a group of friends in Chicago that getting into things back then were considered weird,
Okay.
which are commonplace now. That's like yoga, meditation, nutrition stuff. Back then it was like weird stuff. And I was scared of it. And I was not interested in it.
Well, you were a lawyer. You were very by the book.
Oh, yeah. It's called straight and
Left-brained,
narrow
right.
here.
Mhm.
And so I kept hanging around these friends, and I got peer pressured to try some stuff. And one of the very first things I did was yoga with a negative attitude. I was going to prove to them it didn't work. I was going to use my legal skills and just... Well, shortly after taking it, I noticed lower back pain problems I had most of my life were gone. I had more flexibility than I had as a high school athlete. I got so excited about it, I started studying it and wound up becoming a master teacher of Hatha Yoga. And then I just kept studying all kinds of other stuff that, again, back then were
A little
off
up there.
the wall.
Right.
And wound up getting a master's and doctorate in holistic health sciences. And I wound up switching out of law because of all of this and created a program in 1974 for college students
Okay.
called How to Relax and Enjoy Being a Student and Passing Your Exams. Now, notice the word stress management is not in there because the word stress management didn't
exist yet.
and the first book on stress management didn't even come out until 74 by Hans Selye. And so I was calling it How to Relax and Enjoy, and I was going to college campuses. And they didn't know me on campuses. I was an unknown. So I created a relaxation guarantee. If you came to my program, which was free to the students because I was being brought in by the activities board,
And the
programming
academic
boards.
side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the academic side.
the activities, right.
The activity side. And the relaxation guarantee was if you came and didn't feel more relaxed, I would give you $4 for having come to the program.
So it's a win-win. Why would I not come? Right.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I would have a director of student activities come up to me and say before the program, "We've got a problem."
Too many people here.
Oh, no, the whole left side of the audience is here for the money.
Oh, no.
What are we going to do? I said, don't worry. And end of the program, nobody came up.
Of course.
160,000 people later, I only paid 4 people the money.
Wow.
But
because you were delivering the value.
yeah, and
Yes.
see, I was showing him things like, and this again was weird back then, breathing to relax before an exam, progressive relaxation exercises, which is tensing and relaxing to fall asleep. I was teaching meditation as a way of re-energizing themselves. I was even showing them how to get rid of a headache or a hangover in 90 seconds using a Japanese pressure technique called shiatsu that you can do on yourself as well as other people.
Goodness, I'm going to have to learn that before you leave here today.
Easy to do. And so in effect, I was showing them things that they could really do for themselves
Okay.
immediately.
Right.
And so that's why I didn't have to pay anybody. They left feeling different. And then as I was evolving what I was doing and studying and the things I was learning, I ran across a guy who attended one of my programs. And I
Okay.
met him at the airport, and he said, "Hey, I just learned this new stuff. It's called Brain Gym, and it's great." And so I made him teach it to me. It's supposed to be a 3-day class. I made him do it in 3 evening sessions. There was a woman taking it. She got totally lost with
Okay.
what was going on. I really got it. Then found out, not from him, but another friend I ran across, I could get certified to teach this work. So I got certified. But then I looked around, and the guy who developed this is a guy named Dr. Paul Dennison.
Okay.
He's got a PhD in education.
Okay.
And he developed the Brain Gym, which are very simple body movement exercises that actually create new neuron nets in the brain in minutes. So he was able to take D and F graded students and give them the capability of becoming A-level students in a semester. And so what I saw is people who were getting certified in this work were all in the education arena, teachers and administrators and counselors. Nobody was doing anything in the business arena, and that was more my background. So I said to Dr. Dennison and his wife, Gail, can I create a course for salespeople? And they said, sure, and that was the creation of Switched On Selling.
And that is how we are here today to talk about switched on selling. But before we do that, I'd love to touch on this brain gym concept. Can you explain that a little bit more to us?
Sure. So Dennison and other folks started playing with notions of that the body affects the mind.
Okay.
And because we usually think as the mind affects the body, we now know from neuroplasticity work that, yeah, the body has a major impact on the brain. As a matter of fact, your gut has more neurons in it than the brain has. And so there's a communication system that goes both ways now, but the body talks to the brain. And so that you can actually make changes through the body.
Physiological changes to affect the psychological
Yes.
side.
Yes. Let me give you a piece of research that was done
Sure.
on this with people who had had strokes.
Okay.
So the left side of their body was paralyzed to varying degrees. What they did is they strapped down the right hand. They forced them to use this weakened left hand for 6 hours a day. They initially tested out at what is called a 2.2 level of ability with the weakened hand. After 1 day of therapy, they jumped to 3.7 ability with the weakened hand. The part of the brain involved with this actually doubled in size. They got back to 75% of normal hand use in a day.
In a day?
And one of the people, it was 21 years after they had had a stroke.
Good Lord. Wow.
So what we're talking about is using the body to make changes up here. And so there's a whole range of brain gym movements. And in my Switched On Selling seminar, I'm using about 18 of them.
Okay.
And we're going to actually, Katerina and I talked about giving you folks an actual experience of this a little later on.
Yes.
So you can actually experience what I'm talking about now. But in introducing the Switched On Selling material, Katerina, what I found is people, it's a one-day seminar, and people go through the class and they would actually forget how they used to be. Their wiring was no longer connected up to failure. The wiring was hooked
Connected
up
to
into
success.
And so what I started doing was research. to validate the changes.
And I would hope that you would have wanted to do some research, because it's crazy to me that you can take someone that has a failure mindset, if you will, and within a day you have them charging for success.
Yep.
What did your research show?
So we did, my very first study in this was with 695 salespeople.
Okay.
Okay?
It's a good sample size.
That's a good sample size, yeah. We gave them a pre-seminar questionnaire when they walked in first thing in the morning. End of the seminar day, we gave it to them again to see what changed. But then we went a step further, because my concern was the concept of seminar high or placebo effect. How many of you gone to a seminar left really excited, like you? 3 days later, nothing changed.
Right.
You're
Then
back-
you're
you're
so
back.
motivated, and then you're like, it's a weekend. I'm going to watch TV.
Yeah. So I wanted to see did anything stick. So what we did is we sent the forms back to people a month later. And said, do it a third time to see what would happen. And in some cases, and with some clients over the years, we've gotten the forms back 3 months later, they filled it out, 4 months later, and everything still holds. So here's an example. One of the statements that people respond to is, I am comfortable asking for the order and closing the sale. Katerina, would you view that as an important part of the selling process?
It's an important part of the selling process. It's probably the link in the chain that most people fail at.
Well, they fail in a lot of places.
Okay.
And
I fail at that part of it.
And all you have to do is...
I hate asking for money.
Well, all you have to do is fail in one of the areas, and it never even gets you that far.
Wow.
So that was the statement. I am comfortable asking the order and closing the sale. 695 salespeople. Choices they had were strongly disagree, agree,
Neutral?
strongly agree. Okay. How many would you guess would be on the negative side of the 695 salespeople? Real salespeople?
Walking in, probably 500 at least.
No, it wasn't that high.
Okay.
It was 52%
Okay.
responded negatively.
Okay. But it's still pretty high.
Yeah.
50% of
Yeah.
perceived salespeople responding that they can't close.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
it's real high.
Yeah.
And in terms of strongly agree, it was only like 16%.
Okay.
Okay. So they go through the seminar. We switch them on. We find out where they're stuck in the whole process. We switch them on. We go back through filling out the questionnaire end of the day.
Okay.
We went from 52% negative
Yeah.
to only 8% still there
Within 1 day?
within 1 day.
How do you switch us on, Jerry? The people at home want to know.
We're going to work on it.
How to be switched on today? Wow.
Now, a month later,
Yeah.
okay, you'd expect it to fall off, right?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Yeah, it's, you get a high and you go, shoot. So it was, end of the day, it dropped to 6%
A month later.
a month later. So from 52% to 8 to 6. Now, here's to me the most interesting part. On strongly agree, they went from 16%,
Yeah.
end of the day 35%. A month later, they got better. It was 50% with the other 43% in agree, without a single technique of selling taught the entire day.
So we're going back to that. It's not the technique, although technique is important. It's what's happening under the surface.
Yep.
And what is holding us back that we may not even know is holding us back.
Yeah. So let's go
Wow.
to the next level.
Okay.
The next level is because this is people's attitudes about selling.
Most people don't like selling, Jerry.
Yeah. Well, this is their attitude in what we did with that study.
Okay.
The question is, did it have a bottom line impact? Okay, so that's becomes the major. Yeah, literally, is there money involved at the end of the day with a company or individual doing better? Let's go to the company side.
Okay.
There is a company in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where I live, called Active Termite and Pest Control.
Okay.
The president heard me do my regular seminar on increasing your brain's performance for greater leadership success at an organization he belonged to called Entrepreneurs Organization.
Okay.
A guy named Kevin Kordick. This guy's was a past president of the National Pest Management Association. He was selected as Entrepreneur of the Year in Virginia Beach. His company was twice selected as Best Place to Work in Virginia. So this is a pretty heavy-duty guy.
Okay.
So Kevin saw me. This is the middle of the recession. He decides to put half his sales force through the class, and I told him, put your mediocre folks in the class, not your top. Because a lot of times companies will want to train their top people. As they move up a little bit, they're even better. It's got a bottom line impact. I said, nope. Put your
average.
Less than average.
Wow.
Mediocre folks, okay? And it took some convincing. What do you mean?
Why do I want to invest in the mediocre guys?
So he does. Okay. Kevin is very heavily into tracking statistics.
Okay.
One of the things he observed is 6 of the 8 people immediately jumped above his top tier people. They created a newer and higher top tier in one day. Yep. Now, October that year, the rest of his sales force and those people who had been in the top tier were clamoring to go through the seminar, and I did it again. And a year later, this is when we started moving into slow recovery.
Okay.
Kevin, I say to Kevin.
So this is 2009,
2010,
10-ish.
August 2010.
Okay.
So I say to Kevin, what happened over the course of the year?
Yeah.
And he said his profits doubled. Now, this is when most pest control companies were either going out of business or barely holding their own. His profits doubled. On 2 of his high-end product lines, he became the #1 distributor in the country. One of his people jumped up over 300%. Now, here's the interesting part. 6 of the 8 people who jumped above his top tier thought this seminar was a crock. By the way, I assume it's okay to say crock.
Yeah, we're good.
So they thought it was a crock. And he brings them into his office 4 months after they went through the class, and he says, here's your stats before the one day. Here's where your stats jumped to since the one day. What changed? And even they said it was the one-day seminar. This is not a belief seminar.
How long have you been running this seminar, Jerry?
Since '89.
Wow.
Now, one other story, and then I want to give an experience to folks.
Absolutely. I'd like for them to get an experience from you today.
So this is a bank in Nebraska.
Okay.
And it's a bank that I spoke to in 2017.
Okay.
In January.
Okay, so recently.
January,
Sure.
so it's recent. Okay. And this is a bank where I do a lot of speaking in the financial industry.
Okay.
And this was a bank that had forced people into being salespeople. It's called, okay, you're it. And so, and he put them through a bunch of training. I mean, a lot of training.
Mm-hmm.
He had another group that had not been through any of this training, but he had hired them as salespeople. Okay. So I come in to do the one-day switched-on selling, pre-questionnaire, everybody. The sales folks who have been trained, the ones who hadn't been trained, are all on the negative side in different places, but they're all on the negative side. End of the seminar, guess where they are?
Strongly
Positive
agree,
side,
right.
And agree, not all, but agree and strongly agree.
Okay.
For most of them, a month later, it held or they got better.
Okay.
Now, end of 2017.
Okay. So almost a year later.
Yeah. They were selected Bank of the Year by the association they belong to, the Institute for Extraordinary Banking. And the president literally said to me, putting his people through switched-on selling was the key element for their growth that occurred that year. Isn't that cool?
I think what's cool is we have an audience full of people that are thinking, how do I get to this seminar?
Well,
we'll talk about that. You've got to stay tuned for that detail. Yeah. Let's share with them some of the things that they can do now.
Sure. Yeah. So what I want to show is, and Katerina talked, and I talked about this, and we're going to actually bring in some guests who are in the studio in a moment, so you're actually seeing several people doing this, is I want to show you how your mind is also affecting your body. Then we're going to move the other way and show you how we change what's going on in the mind by using the body, which is the brain gyms. So that's kind of where I want to
where we're moving to. And just to piggyback on that, I had been doing some research around building up confidence, because it's one of the topics that I speak on, and have recently been introduced to the concept of our body can affect our mind. One of the things that we do now is, it's proven the endocrine system, which is your hormones, can be affected by your posture.
Mhm.
And so there are certain posture poses where if you stand in them, if you take them literally 2 minutes before walking into an interview, it can change your entire physiology and the subconscious things that the other person across the table is picking up, based simply on whether you were sitting in the waiting room on your phone crunched over like this, or sitting back in a posture pose like this. So doing the brain gym is going to be interesting because I'm curious to see where you're going to take it.
Yeah, so we're actually going to
Yeah.
experience what you just talked about.
Perfect. I'm glad
Okay.
because it's a thing, people.
Now,
It's a thing.
if you're watching this, participate with us if you're at a place you can do that. If you're listening to this and you're in a, not driving.
Don't do it if you're driving.
Not
Please don't close
driving.
your eyes.
But if you're in a place where you're listening and you can participate, because I want you to all stand up. So shall we stand up? Shall we bring our guests
We
in
will,
to
and I'm
assist us?
very excited about bringing the guests in for a few different reasons. One, because you and I have third-party independent people that we're going to do this on. So Jerry and I didn't set this up ahead of time. Everything you're going to see is happening in real time, which is part of the beauty of a live show. But second of all, it's because it's two of my very, very good friends who are visiting all the way from Canada. So it's a pleasure to have them be part of today's show. So I'd love to introduce Catherine and Maria coming all the way in from Calgary. Come on in and join us, ladies.
And we're going to stand up.
We're all going to stand up, and we'd like you at home to stand up as well if you, as Jerry mentioned, are in a place where you can do this with us. All right, Jerry.
Okay.
So we're going to say hello to Maria and Catherine. Thank
give
you
a
for being our
wave.
stand-ins. That's right. Okay, so Jerry, what do we do?
Okay, so what you who are watching this are going to do or listening to this is you're standing, you'll have your hands at the side of your body,
Okay.
and with the instructions I'm going to be giving you, you're just going to observe your body. You're not adjusting
Okay.
your body. So everybody, in a moment, you'll close your eyes, and then I'm going to ask you to think of a negative thought.
Okay.
And then I'll ask you to, you can think of it, if you've ever done selling, think of a negative selling thought.
Okay,
So
right.
we'll make it
Sales
tied in there.
specific. Yeah, okay.
And if you haven't had selling, then just something negative. And then what I'm going to do is, while you're thinking that thought, I'll ask you to observe your physical posture. So you're not opening your eyes and looking, you're just observing. Am I going forward, back, moving around? Whatever you observe is fine. Then I'll ask you to observe your breathing. Is it shallow? Is it deep? And again, you're just observing it. Then I'll ask you to observe if you have any pain that you're observing in your body. And some people do, some people don't.
Okay.
And that's
It's fine. There's no right or wrong.
And there's
Okay.
no right or wrong with any of this. And then I'll ask you to observe what's going on in your mind as well. And then what we'll do is have them all three report
Okay.
as what they were
Excellent.
observing. So they're kind of the audience standing in for you
Voicing.
to hear what
the
the voice is of what happened.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent. Can we start?
Yep.
All
hands
right. So if
side-
you're home, as Jerry said, if you're home and you're able to do this with us, please stand up and get ready to close your eyes.
Yes, so
all right.
let's all close our eyes
Let's do
now.
it.
And now I want you to think of that negative situation.
Now this is a negative selling situation. in
Negative
this
selling. If
particular
you have
case.
selling,
Okay.
otherwise pick
Sure.
something else,
Okay.
negative.
Mhm.
And I want you to really intensify that thought now. And now, without adjusting your body, just observe your physical posture. Observe your breathing. Observe any pain you feel in your body and where it is. And observe what's going on in your mind. Now open your eyes, and we'll start with Katerina. And we'll kind of go around the room.
Sure.
So we'll start with you first. What did you observe physical posture?
So I noticed myself sort of kind of closing in a little bit. I was feeling negative and sad because of my shitty sales state. So I really was sort of feeling that negative space. And when you mentioned where do you feel it, I felt it immediately.
Don't go there yet.
Oh, not
Don't
yet.
go there
Okay,
yet.
so
Just
my
do
body
one thing
kind
at a
of
time.
slouched.
Posture.
Yes, Maria.
Maria,
Posture the same. I felt my shoulders roll forward.
talk a little louder.
Sorry, I felt my shoulders roll forward. My posture became less of a strong stance.
Yeah.
Catherine?
Same thing. I
Same
even
thing.
felt my hands kind of go inwards as
Okay,
well.
so her hands also went inward. And when I do this in audience, when I'm speaking to groups, is people will tend to use the word. What it felt like.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go to breathing.
So breathing, I felt I was a little stressed by this exercise, so it was shallow breathing.
Shallow,
Yeah.
okay. Maria?
Yeah, mine was more quick, yeah.
Quick, okay. Catherine?
I didn't notice my breathing change that much.
So breathing didn't
Yeah.
change that much, and that's fine.
Yeah.
What we're looking for actually is for you to notice at least in one place.
Okay.
Okay? So next one is pain. Did you have any pain anywhere?
So yes, I had incredible pain shoot up through my shoulders and my neck. And that's usually where I carry my stress.
Okay.
So I felt that immediately,
Okay.
which was interesting.
Maria?
I didn't feel pain, but I felt itching.
Itching. Okay,
Yes,
good.
The back of my neck.
Mine's same as her. I
Alright.
felt a lot of tension in my shoulders,
Okay.
so I did feel it kind of clench
Got
up.
it. Okay, and then what did you observe going on in your mind?
Oh, lots of shades of gray. No, it was just gray.
There was
and-
sexual
and-
experience?
Yes, that's right. Not that kind of. That's next week's show. That's next week's show. But yes, I felt shades of gray, sort of, kind of infused in, behind the closed eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maria?
Can you repeat the question? It was-
Oh,
I got distracted.
What did you observe going on
In my
your
mind. I was actually visualizing what had happened, and it was just, yes,
Okay. Any feeling around it?
negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think
Catherine?
more negativity coming into you, more negative thoughts
Okay.
arising. yeah.
Great. So you all experienced in more than one place, and just so long as you had one place, that's all we're looking for with this.
Right.
So now we're going to do noticing again,
Okay.
but on a very positive sales situation.
Hmm.
Okay, so same thing, you join us now.
Okay.
Hands to the side of your body. Don't adjust your body, just observe it. Now think of that very positive situation. And without adjusting your body, observe your physical posture, your breathing, any pain, and what's going on in the mind. Open your eyes, and by the way, for you couldn't see this, but on for the
viewers, yeah.
The big smile on your face.
Oh, I was so excited. I could feel it.
So let's go back
Okay,
through quickly.
let's go through each one.
So
Okay.
posture, what did you
Posture,
observe?
yes. Oh, boom.
Upright.
Full upright, shoulders back. I was ready for it.
Yes, the
Maria?
same.
Right.
Same.
Very
Yeah.
Okay.
positive.
Breathing.
It deepened. I felt calm and at ease and fairly stable. Yeah, relaxed.
Relaxed.
Yeah.
That was mine, definitely
Relaxed.
relaxed.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Great. And actually, she didn't notice anything with breathing before, but now she noticed more relaxed.
relaxed, yeah.
Okay. And pain anywhere? Oh, you had the pain. So what happened?
No, I didn't notice any pain. I didn't specifically notice it dissipate, but I think I was just so in my bliss
Right.
that there was nothing. Yeah.
And yours?
Nope, no, I didn't feel any itching.
None?
Nothing, yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, no pain. I felt kind of a heat, though.
A heat.
Yeah.
Mm.
So here's an interesting question: is pain in the body or is pain in the mind?
Coming across
Yeah,
that
I think
way,
it's in both places actually.
Yeah.
But you notice you changed your thought,
Right.
and a physical pain that you just had
Right.
a minute and a half ago wasn't there.
Wow.
And what about the mind?
Oh my God, I was seeing fireworks, color and popping, and that's probably where the smile was coming from. I was at a party.
Ah, I'm gonna go to your place.
I was at a party.
No, I felt that it was very vibrant. For the last one, yes, I seriously now it was very gray, and I saw a lot of color.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very vivid.
Yeah, it was
vivid.
a lot of positivity. Yeah, it just felt better later.
Cool. So let's all be seated now.
All right. Now, if you did this with us at home, I'd be curious for you to note some of these reactions, because this is an exercise that you can do with your spouse later tonight, or you can get on to Jerry's website and learn more about. So, Jerry, that was an exercise would you consider that visualization, or was that simply experiential?
It was noticing.
Okay.
There's a concept of noticing what's going on in your body and your mind. So we were just targeting it for you to look in very specific areas
Okay.
that you then had responses to.
Mm-hmm.
So now, if I had you get up and if I had you go back to those negative thoughts, the same thing would happen again. You'd slump, you'd pain, shallow, all that stuff would happen again. So that's the problem. In other words, as a salesperson, when you have to close the sale and you go to that, oh shoot,
Oh shoot! I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
mess this up. And you're already going in with that energy.
yeah, and it's happened before again, and I'm
Right.
at that energy again, and so lo and behold, what then happens is you're in the slump, literally and figuratively. So how do you get rid of that? Because you're kind of stuck there. That's where the brain gym comes in. Because these are the movements that we're going to do to get rid of the charge attached to that negative thought.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. So this, and again, if you're watching this, it's fine. You can do this standing up or you can do it sitting down. If you're listening and not in a place where you can do it, I'm going to give you what I view as very clear instructions as to how to do this. I've learned how to do it with audiences. So even if you're listening, I think you'll get it. Otherwise, you can watch the replay of the video, and
Today's show.
you can actually see what we're doing.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is let's put feet flat on the floor
All right.
and move your chair back just a touch.
There we go.
Okay. So this is called hookups. There's a
What
part.
kind of show is this, Jerry?
No, well, it's the name they gave it. What the heck? Because the guy who developed the first version of this, his name was Wayne Cook, so they wound up calling it hookups.
Okay.
Anyway, so what you're going to be doing, and this is going to look a little pretzel-y, so do it as best you can. So what you can do is you're going to clasp your hands together. Now, if you look at your fingers clasped together, you have one thumb that's on top. We're calling that whole side of your body the primary side of your body. So now you're going to release your hands and put your arms straight out in front of you, just straight out. Now turn the backs of your hands so they're facing each other. The backs are facing each other. Take the primary side hand over the top of the other. Intertwine your fingers. If you can, bring your hands under and into your chest. Take your primary side ankle and cross it in front of the other ankle. You're going to put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, a 1/4 of an inch behind your front teeth. It's just a contact point just up there. In a moment, you're all going to close your eyes, and what you're going to do is I want you to think of that negative situation negatively. As much intensity, as much clarity as you can, negatively. Somewhere in holding hookups part 1, part 2, and the positive points we're going to do, the negative will fade away. Other thoughts will pop in. Your mind will wander, or it becomes hard to focus on the negative. When that happens, you switch and view it positively. But stay with the negative until you get a switch, a change, something like that. Close your eyes. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds, and I'll just do a little talking in the space here, because on TV, radio, you don't like to have spaces. And so one of the people who went through this class was a guy who is an internet marketer, and he was going to a conference to market himself, and he'd gone to the same conference 6 times, no sales. Took Switched On Selling the day before, and first day of the conference, 7 sales. End of the conference, he had 17 sales. That's the kind of change we're talking about. So now, this is part 1. We're now going to go to part 2. So everybody uncross your feet and release your hands. Part 2,
Can we open our eyes?
Yes, open
Okay.
your eyes, yeah. First, while you're watching what I'm having you do. Now, all you're going to do for part 2 is just put your fingertips together. Just the fingertips. Your hands could be in the air, in your lap, just doesn't matter. You're going to close your eyes again. The tongue is at the roof of the mouth. You're going to keep breathing. If the negative's still there, continue to view it negatively. Mind wanders off. Other thoughts pop in. Hard to view the negative. Switch and view it positively. And stay with the positive then for the rest of the process. And we'll hold this for about 30 seconds. And I'll give you another example. It's a woman who was in the real estate business. And she was pretty new, but she had 6 personal listings. The week after taking Switched On Selling, she had sold 5 out of 6 of her listings. And the week after she sold the 6th, she wound up owning a real estate company as well. So we've now finished hookups. You can open your eyes, release your hands. The last one we're going to do is called positive points. To do positive points, you're going to take 3 fingers from each hand. Find the middle of your eyebrow and go halfway up to the hairline, or where it used to be. There's a curved part of the head. Where the curve is, you're placing the fingers there lightly, not pressing, but lightly. Negative still there, continue to view it negatively, keep breathing. If the mind wanders off, other thoughts pop in, switch and view it positively. We'll hold this for about 30 seconds. And I'll give you an example. This one is from my Switched On Network Marketing class. Had a guy who could not, in network marketing, you're supposed to recruit other people, and he had never recruited anybody, never asked anybody to show them a plan. After the seminar, he was pumping gas at a station, filling his car, struck up with a conversational woman next to him who was filling her car, and wound up with an appointment to show her the plan. That was right after the seminar on Switched On Network Marketing. Okay, release your hands. So now I want you to stand up again. We're all going to stand up. Stand up with us.
And I'm kind of still in my happy place here.
Yeah,
I
well,
like
that's
it.
the good place.
Yeah.
So everybody, I want you now close your eyes again and just observe with your hands at the side of your body what you're observing. Now think of that negative that you started with again. And now notice what's going on with posture, with breathing, pain, what's going on in the mind. Okay, open your eyes and we'll go around real quick. What'd you notice?
All right, it is a little bit trippy, people. I couldn't notice the negative space. I was literally in a place where I'm done with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your posture was
My
upright.
posture
and
was
breathing
good.
deeper
Breathing
and all
was
that.
deep,
Yeah.
smiling. I was seeing
Yeah.
my colors.
Maria?
The same.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was still
Yeah, it
kind
just
of-
didn't matter anymore.
It didn't matter anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So guess what we just did? We took a negative that was there for you and it ain't
Yeah,
there.
that's interesting.
Give yourselves a hand.
Woo!
Yay! Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, girls, for being part of our experiment here. Jerry, I still find that a little bit crazy, though.
I know.
You know, like I did physiologically feel it. If you did this with us at home, I'd like to be curious, and you can type in later. Perhaps you're watching us on Facebook because we're also Facebook Living.
Okay.
Let us know if you did the exercise and if you felt it was gone. I could not go back to that place.
Yeah, now let me talk about 2 courses I have online.
Yes, please do.
Because Switched On Selling, I have that on DVDs, and you'd have to go to my website at teplitz.com, teplitz.com to get that there, teplitz.com. But I have 2 courses online, Switched On Internet Marketing and Switched On Startup Entrepreneur. What I did is I took the Switched On Selling program and reworked it for people, internet marketers, the places they're blocked, the things they don't like to do, the things they avoid doing, and worked with an internet marketing guru named Tom Antion. He's a multimillionaire.
Okay.
To develop that class.
Huh.
It's online, it's a modularized program, so you can actually take it there.
And I was going to say this is excellent because not everyone can travel across the country to chase you and see you live.
Yep.
But this gives people at home the opportunity to jump on, take the course,
Yep.
and gain the benefits.
Yeah.
Amazing.
As a matter of fact, I'm doing Switched On Selling, Switched On Internet Marketing, not Switched On Startup Entrepreneur, and Switched On Network Marketing on Friday, this Friday in San Francisco area. Call my office if you want to come, 800-77-RELAX.
I was going to say that's this Friday?
Relax, this
I may have to
Friday.
jump on a plane Friday
Yeah.
morning. No, I'm not even joking.
Yeah. Now, we also have Switched On Startup Entrepreneur,
Okay.
because people who are going into entrepreneurism aren't able to understand the whole notion of selling and finding a team, finding investors, getting their goals and focus. We switch them on for every part of the internet marketing process. I did this for a group in Charlottesville, Virginia, that's working with homeless people to make them entrepreneurs.
Oh.
Beginning of the class, one of the statements was, I view myself as an effective, successful entrepreneur.
This you're asking a bunch of homeless people this
Yeah,
now at this
yeah.
point. Okay.
Where do you think they were?
On the pretty low side of that
They
scale.
were all negative.
Sure.
End of the seminar day, they were all positive. It took 2 months to get the forms back from them because they were homeless,
Right,
finding
yeah.
them. And they all stayed on the positive side
It's amazing.
from a one-day seminar.
I love that.
Isn't that
we
cool?
want to make sure that you at home have the opportunity to get Jerry's programs. I'm gonna say those to you again. And as friends of Katerina's and friends of the show, we're gonna give you a special link here. As Jerry mentioned, it's switchedoninternetmarketing.com/Katerina. switchedoninternetmarketing.com/Katerina, and, as you mentioned, switchedonstartupentrepreneur.com. switchedonstartupentrepreneur.com. You can also /Katerina.
Yep.
Let them know you're coming in through the show. Yes.
Yeah, and then if you did want the switched on selling, you need to go on my website, and that are our DVDs. We can email you the links
Right.
to the videos, so you can watch them still on your computer and stuff if you
Now,
want.
what I love is that you have been doing this for years and years and helping millions of people.
Not quite that many, but yeah.
Hundreds of
1 million we got to.
Well, you see, so 1 million people have jumped on this program and had success
Yeah.
because of Brain Gym. I did feel a bit like a pretzel.
Yep.
How often do we need to be doing that?
That one we teach you in the class, the hookups and positive points. You only need to do that when you have something negative happen during the day and you want to get rid of the charge right away. So in 2 minutes, you just clean that charge out, you go on with your day. So negative sale first thing in the morning, it no longer ruins your day.
So excellent.
How's that for cool?
I was going to say, and you know what I love is there are a lot of people, we've talked about this on the show, moving from a corporate space into an entrepreneurial space, but they lack some of these skills. And a lot of it is a mental block.
Yep.
This absolutely gets to that.
For a startup entrepreneur,
So
I
great.
think this should be the required first course to take before you get any information, because that means you're going to be on for everything you have to do and all the information is coming into you. You won't have a block come up for you, period.
Well, we are on it today. We thank you so much for being with us, Jerry.
My pleasure.
Yes.
It's fun.
Tell us your website one more time.
Teplitz, Teplitz.com. And if you want to register for San Francisco or call friends to go, call my 800 number, 800-77, and then the word relax.
We are relaxing into success, Jerry. Thank you so much for being here today.
A delight.
Excellent. We appreciate it. We appreciate you as well. Thank you for tuning in to LA40 with me, your host, Katerina Cozias, with our special guest, Dr. Jerry Teplitz, and his Switched On programs. We'll see you again next week. Thank you. Oh, we got to get off. Oh, and thank you to our guests. Thank you, ladies.
You're listening to LA40 with Katerina Cozias, only on LA Talk Radio.